Hitler did not commit suicide. Hitler ran off to Argentina and lived multiple years after.
And he's not the only one. They
Right.
all ran. No one died. And I want to know what happened at the end. What he did to, I guess, grow Germany was disgusting.
Yeah.
I ain't getting frisked. I put your security at risk.
Not to be racist, but
I walk in the crib, no getting frisked. Butt naked in the kitchen cooking grits. Tell your mama, come give me a kiss. Security gon' need security for this. I ain't getting frisked. Don't put the security at risk. Never take the family picture off the fridge. Never stand between a man and his kids. Y'all ain't got enough security for this. Y'all ain't got enough security for this. I put your security at risk. I make your security a quit. Like, we don't get paid enough for this.
I mean, keeping it on the topic of Jews and Nazis for today, who better to kick it off than an unreleased song by Kanye West, who, wow, did he break my internet thread this week.
Yes, he did. We're recording, by the way. It's been very nice.
I know, that's how we were kicking the episode
It's
off.
very nice to have you back and to be able to talk to you.
Yeah, welcome back.
Gosh, it's been...
To the stew.
The stew, exactly.
Yeah.
It's been nice, obviously, to grow this channel on my own, but to be able to do this podcast with you, it's been so nice. I actually have a story. I thought of you a lot when this happened because I feel like you'd be the only person to really understand my level of shame here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I took my truck into the dealership just to get like a routine oil change, right? And as I'm leaving, because I dropped it off, as I'm leaving, I open the door. And there's this lesbian mechanic who, it was definitely a girl. And the way I knew it was a lesbian because the shaved head, right? She was wearing male clothing, all dirty, all stained up. She was like a mechanic, okay? And I see there was a wedding ring. Oh, shit. There was a wedding ring tattooed right here. And I'm thinking, well, a man's not marrying that. And so, lesbian.
You'd be surprised.
Lesbian, that's what she was. And so I open the door. I go, oh, here you go, ma'am. And she goes... oh, no, thank you, and walks right past me, opens the next door for herself. Yeah.
Really?
So lesbians, listen, heterosexual
Why
white.
do you think?
Because I'm a heterosexual.
Because you said ma'am.
Because I said ma'am. I'm trying to be
I
polite.
think it's because you said ma'am.
Because I'm heterosexual and I'm white, and I was trying to be polite.
But Luke, she had a shaved head. You should have asked her for her pronouns.
Shaved on the sides.
Yeah, but you automatically assumed she was a lesbian. What you should
Same
immediately
hat as
assume,
you.
It doesn't matter.
That's
Don't
a
tell
lesbian.
Me that.
That's a lesbian.
You can't say that though.
A blue collar, hardworking. She had oil all over.
Okay,
she
that's
had the
fine.
overalls.
But you can't assume she's a lesbian anymore. You have to ask her pronouns.
She
You
had
are
red hair.
assuming she went as a ma'am. She might have been the man of the relationship.
I'm telling you right now, that's a lesbian.
It's very possible.
They're going extinct.
It's very.
My whole point is just like the gall.
Do you think the gays are going down?
No, lesbians are going extinct.
Really?
Yes. Name 3 lesbians our age.
I just don't.
You can't.
I mean, I can. I have 2 lesbian weddings to go to this year.
Okay, I have a lesbian cousin, but still.
Yeah.
So
and they're never going to see this, which is great. So
name 5.
I can't. So your cousin, my 2 lesbian weddings. It doesn't matter. Here's my point. I just don't think that like 2 women butt heads so much. You know what I mean? Like when you put 2 women in a room together, if they're best friends, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But if you put 2 women in the same room together, like eventually they'll start nitpicking and shit. It just goes south. I feel like
it gets violent really quick,
like.
which is not something that I'm advocating for.
I'd be interested to see. I bet you the rate of people who were lesbian and then went back to straight.
Oh boy, I actually know somebody that is
right. But I'm saying I bet that's a better, higher percentage than gay men that went back to straight.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. I feel like women, some of the lesbians might have like a complex, like I want to have children, so they might make that sacrifice with the straight man. I don't know, and then just maybe quietly divorce the. I don't know.
I mean, I think that's definitely something that happens.
It has to be, right? It has to be. I feel like I'm a little bit higher than you. I shouldn't be higher than you. We should be equal.
I mean, I might be slouching.
Okay, let me go. All right, but yeah.
Just in from the post.
So we have a lot of information, okay? But that was a nice little story.
Absolutely.
But we have a lot of information for you folks. A lot of stuff has come out regarding
The Jews.
well, them and Hitler.
Well, he's directly tied.
He is pretty directly tied. I don't think this story has anything to do with the Jews, actually.
It really doesn't. It has nothing to
Right.
do with Jewish people. I just like saying it.
Because everybody else, every other story has to do with Jews.
Right.
Sorry, you guys got to dominate the news cycle at all times. But, folks, we have a story from the New York Post, but this is from the CIA files, okay? So get this. The CIA files have now revealed the search for Hitler in South America 10 years after his suicide, as Argentina prepares to release classified docs on Nazi fugitives. So Hitler did not commit suicide. Hitler ran off to Argentina and lived multiple years after the quote-unquote day where he committed suicide. How do we feel about this?
I mean, so they say. I guess Hitler's death was confirmed by just numerous bystanders who said that it was a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head, presumably the temple is what I've been reading. But I'd be interested to see whether it's, the people who say they saw him,
Right.
if that was, all the conspiracy, or if the CIA genuinely had, or not the CIA, but if they had a body double or something like that,
Yeah.
how was it pulled off, I guess?
It's crazy.
Like any
because
great fake the
you
death
think-
story.
You think, I mean, he was one of the most notorious, one of the toughest leaders, regardless of if you agree with him or disagree with him. This is a fact that he was quite tough, and he was a very hard-nosed leader.
Would you call him successful?
I might get in trouble if I elaborate on that. But, I mean, we're kind of dancing around the topic, but this is a guy that was very tough, right? So the idea that
He had an agenda and he got it done, damn
well,
it.
not all of it.
I mean, no, he still...
But, well, do we even know if he wanted world domination, or is this propaganda that we... That's the thing. What's truth and what's not? It's just really hard for me to believe somebody that was so strongly principled, somebody that had so much discipline when you talk about like how he built back the German economy.
Right.
And we're not saying he's a good or bad person. I'm just saying these are the facts.
What he did, at the end of the day, like cut and dry, what he did
was bad.
What he did to, I guess, grow Germany...
Well, this was... Yeah, that's good.
was disgusting.
Yeah.
Was disgusting.
Yeah.
And he did not do it in ways that we would necessarily, stand by.
Right.
Granted, the United States has made, decisions that we would not stand by.
Yeah.
However, where we're coming from is you need to talk about these leaders. I mean, at what point does Hitler just become like Genghis Khan?
Yeah, that's the thing.
You know what I mean?
Why is it such like a touchy-feely
It's so
type
taboo.
of a thing?
You don't talk about
Well,
it.
you know why.
Well, yes, but
So-
but beyond that, I think it's also timing, and I mean it's happened, I guess quote unquote recent,
Right.
as compared to all that. But it's like when you really want to talk about the slaughtering that Genghis Khan did, and I mean all these things. At some point, it just doesn't touch home or it doesn't hit a chord with you, so you can talk about it.
But
you
Shide,
know?
I think it's so
History's
crazy.
weird like that.
I think it is so crazy to believe that this leader, right? He was highly successful. He didn't just do the Holocaust. He actually did do some good. Granted, the good was overshadowed by all the bad that he did. But I have a very hard time believing that Hitler killed himself in a bunker, shot himself in the head. I have a very hard time believing that.
I do too.
That this guy that was
I
so
do too.
principled, was he religious? I'm not sure if he was. We would have to go look that up. But I have a really hard time believing that this guy took his own life.
No, and I agree, especially when you kind of look at the facts and they're laid out. I mean, I guess you are looking down the pipe of something that's insane. You know?
Yeah.
You're looking down the pipe of how many countries coming after you. So obviously you go on the run. Now, is suicide your option?
I don't
I don't think suicide is your option.
that feels like a CIA plant story to me.
It really does. I mean, but ultimately you can kind of toss that up with any suicide, you know?
Anyway, so the article, right?
Yeah,
The
get to it.
CIA documents show agents were on the hunt for Adolf Hitler in South America for 10 years after the world believed he was dead, as Argentina prepares to declassify government files on Nazi fugitives who fled to the country at the end of World War II. As Soviet troops battled their way into the heart of Berlin on April 30th, 1945, Hitler and longtime girlfriend Eva Braun, whom he had married the day prior, killed themselves in his underground Fuhrer bunker to avoid capture. Their bodies were partially burned and buried in a shallow bomb crater. So do we know it's their bodies? Because it's burned.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly. And that was
Yeah.
always the toss-up, especially talked about in schools.
Yeah.
Me and you would sit through class, and how many times do they tell you, yeah, and, at the end, Hitler fled, and he killed himself, and the Jews were released, and everything was happy-go-lucky because Hitler killed himself. And, it's never like, oh, yeah, I guess you're not asking it in high school or middle school, but it's like, you're not like, oh, who confirmed the body or anything like that. But you would imagine the United States, something like that, a world leader, you would need like some sort of confirmation.
Something.
Right? And you're just talking about a burned body here of two people that you're presuming is this world leader.
It's interesting. Right here, it says Soviet soldiers later exhumed the remains, which the USSR identified through dental records, and held them in East Germany until KGB agents destroyed Hitler's body in April 1970, preserving only a jawbone and skull that were taken to Moscow, according to MI5. Okay, so you're telling me that we're gonna trust the Soviet Union's narrative?
I mean, that's what they're telling you.
The Soviet, and that's a crazy thing, too, that Russia was our ally in World War II. That's another crazy thing, and we don't often talk about the amount of people that they lost.
Right.
But we were essentially allied with communism. And that's the thing, too, because our government has done so much to try and kill communist leaders, whether that's like Castro, whether that's Gaddafi, like leaders like that in the Middle East. But at one time, we were partnered with communism. So, were we the bad guys?
I mean, not necessarily.
I wouldn't say that there were any bad guys or good guys. Just
there wasn't, but things were also a lot different back in the 20s, 30s, 40s.
That's true.
A lot was different. And then when you get back to Gaddafi or Castro or anything like that, I mean, those are all more recent, I guess.
Yeah.
When you look at the grand scheme of things, when they're trying to assassinate someone involved with communism.
Not to say that the Germans weren't bad. I mean, the Germans were definitely bad, but
Can you go to the article with the AI mocking
oh my gosh.
Americans working? Have you seen this yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I saw it yesterday. It's
Doing it.
fucking hilarious.
How about I put a bookmark in it?
Yes, you have to put a bookmark in it. I forgot.
Right.
We're diving deep. We're diving deep.
All right, so let me go back then. But yeah, just continuing to talk about this.
I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good. It's a crazy subject, and it's something that I'm glad that we're able to finally see the light on. It's very interesting. So continue to look at the article, continuing to read the article, okay? It says right here, however, immediately after reports of Hitler's death, conspiracy theories that he survived the war and fled Germany through Nazi rat lines began. So, these conspiracy theories, these ideas were already...
They popped up right away.
Right, they were back then even, not before or not when the internet was happening. While the CIA has an autopsy report confirming Hitler's death, other documents show agents suspected Hitler may have been taken refuge in South America under an alias and obtained a photo of a man with a striking resemblance to the Nazi leader. A declassified file from October 1945 shows that agents with the U.S. War Department told the FBI of a possible secret hideout at a spa hotel in La Falda, Argentina, that Hitler may have used if he survived. Interesting. What do we think about that?
I want the picture. I want the picture of, the possible Hitler lookalike. What does this document say? The following information concerning possible hiding for Hitler. You see how it's all capped?
That's crazy. All right, so hold on. Let's read about this right here. It says the document states that the owner of the hotel and her family were enthusiastic supporters of Adolf Hitler and made financial contributions to the Nazi Party in its early days in the 1920s through propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels. Quote, this voluntary support of the Nazi Party was never forgotten by Hitler, the docs claimed. During the years after he came to power, his friendship with Hitler became so close that she and members of her family lived with Hitler in the same hotel on the occasion of their annual visit to Germany. And then, so here's the secret CIA files. Do you want to read those?
No, because I don't know if I'll be able to. The following information, which concerns a possible hiding place for Hitler in Argentina, has been passed on to us by a source, the possibility of which is unknown to us at this time. I don't know what that is. Reported to be a reputable member of Argentina society and I need my glasses on. The proprietor of the largest spa hotel in La Palda, Argentina. Recently, is that said?
recently made the following
recently made the following observations. Luke, if you're going to keep me on this podcast, I need some eye insurance.
Don't worry, I'll take care of it. So this is the rest of what it says. It is so insane just reading this and understanding what this means. All right, here we go. So following observations. A, that even before the Nazi Party was founded, she made available to Goebbels her entire bank account, which at the time amounted approximately to 30,000 marks, which money was used to be used for the propaganda purposes. B, that she and her family have been enthusiastic supporters of Adolf Hitler since the Nazi Party was founded. C, that this voluntary support of the Nazi Party was never forgotten by Hitler, and that during the years after he came into power. Yeah, okay. So same thing. So it's talking about this lady and her loyalty to Hitler. Okay?
Oh, here it is.
Oh yeah, here's the picture. Wow. So this is it's going to introduce us to this person.
The balls on this man to keep the stash.
Yeah, I know. We're going to show you in a second. Okay, right here. The report claims that the hotel had already made the necessary preparations for Hitler to take refuge at their hotel in Argentina if, quote, should at any time get into any difficulty and, quote, needed a safe retreat. Another document from October 1955 from a CIA agent with the code name Camelody 3 said he received information from a friend who spoke to a man claiming to be a former Nazi SS soldier, Philip Citroen, whatever, who confidently told him Hitler was still alive in Colombia. Citroen claimed to have talked to the former Nazi leader monthly and provided Camelody 3's friend with a photograph showing him and the man he claimed to be Hitler on a beach in Tunja, Colombia. Camelody 3's friend, whose name was not provided in the document, unknowingly stole the picture from Citroen long enough for the agent to make a copy. Okay, so like you're saying, this is allegedly Hitler and this guy in 1955.
Right.
Wow.
And the balls on Hitler to keep the stash. It's
Look
insane.
At that thing. Look at that, Dad.
It's insane.
Look at that thing.
And here's the thing.
He looks...
I don't... Obviously, the CIA got wind of this. The United States government has known this. It's all, secreted, been under wraps, and it is what it is now because it claims that he, died 10 years later or something like that. Now, at the end of the day, do you fault the United States government for this? Or is everybody better knowing that this disgusting world leader is dead because he is just going to run off and he's going to be in a country that nobody pays attention to and... anybody who says they see him alive is just going to be a conspiracy theorist because the United States government was so trusted back then.
I think that what you're saying is true. The first thing, I think that they knew, but at this point in time, like, the baby boomer generation was starting to be conceived.
Right.
Like, this whole idea of the war's over. You see the iconic picture of the soldiers and their wives in Times Square in New York City, right?
Right.
This whole idea that we killed this awful man.
Yeah.
Now, whether he was truly, truly awful, I think he was truly awful, but I also think he did some good things as well. Whether we let everybody know, oh yeah, he's actually not dead, because they could have killed him.
Right.
Or they leave him be. It is what it is. Everybody believes that he's dead. We won. The Western values were superior.
Right. We're better off thinking he's dead.
And it made our society better.
Right. 100%.
So,
we're better off thinking he's dead.
Maybe go with the lie. I think that's probably what they did.
I think you pushed the lie heavy here. I mean, especially because you lost him. You know what I mean? He went on the run, and now it's, do we announce that we're, in pursuit of Adolf Hitler?
And this is alleged, too. This isn't even...
This is all alleged, but I'm a conspiracy theorist, Luke. I like to fall down rabbit holes.
Yeah, we're falling down a big one, okay?
I know. We're going to fall down another one here in a minute.
So, this is that picture, okay? So, continuing on right here. The man alleged to be Hitler was going by, get this, Adolf Hitler, and he left Colombia for Argentina in January 1955. Quote, Philip Citroen commented that in as much as 10 years have passed since the end of World War II, and the Allies could no longer prosecute Hitler as a criminal of war, the document stated. On November 4th, 1955, the CIA approved agents contacting a person known in the files as Gorilla to further investigate the history of Adolf Hitler in Colombia before 1955. However, okay, so here are more documents here.
It's going to be the same thing.
Yeah. However, the same document...
But that's the document.
Yes.
Pause if you want to fucking read it.
Yeah, sorry, folks. However, the same... That was kind of sassy of you.
Well, I like this.
However, the same...
Where's Daddy?
The same document states that, quote, enormous efforts could be expended on this matter with remote possibilities of establishing anything concrete. Therefore, we suggest that this matter be dropped. That's crazy. So he couldn't be prosecuted. It's awful convenient for them to just find it 10 years after.
I mean, obviously.
It appears that following 1955, no other documents have been made publicly available in the CIA's declassified files to suggest agents were hunting for Hitler. While there's no concrete proof of the theory that Hitler may have survived the war and fled Germany, members of the Nazi Party did use rat lines to reach Argentina and other South American countries to avoid prosecution for their crimes after World War II, which is why Argentina is so white.
Right. And he's not the only one. Hitler's not the only one. They
Right.
all ran. No one died. And I want to know what happened at the end. I want to know where he died. I want to know the actual fucking story.
Well, there's
You
more
know what I
information
mean?
here, which
well,
is...
here, I know. Continue.
In 1960, Israeli Mossad agents covertly captured one of the masterminds behind the Holocaust, Adolf Eichmann, in Argentina, and brought him back to stand trial in Jerusalem, where he was found guilty and sentenced to death by hanging. SS physician Josef Mengele, dubbed the Angel of Death, for his disturbing medical experiments on prisoners at Auschwitz, escaped through rat lines and eluded capture. He died from drowning after suffering a heart attack while swimming in Brazil in 1979, and then late last month...
Bro, he died so late.
I know.
Oh, my God.
Late last month, Argentina's Interior Minister, Guillermo Alberto Francos, announced that classified files relating to, quote, Nazis who sought refuge in Argentina and were protected for many years after World War II would be released. Okay, so that's it. That's it. And then you have right here, the president has instructed that all relevant documents from any state institution be made public because there is no reason to keep them declassified. So this is Argentina's. It's not even America.
No, it has nothing to do with America. So this is great. I love when other countries release things and we can't sit here and blame anybody.
Well, because we have people that control our country. It's
yep.
estimated around 10,000 Nazis and other fascist war criminals escaped prosecution for their roles in the Holocaust by fleeing to Argentina and other Latin American countries.
Right. It's at the end of the day, you read that statement, 10,000 Nazis. How is the leader not one of them? 10,000 Nazis, and the leader is the one that killed themselves?
I don't know. But isn't that interesting?
It's very interesting.
What do we think? Do we think more stuff is going to come out about this?
I would like to. I would like our files. I would like the United States files released on this. Do I think they will? No. But I'm also interested to see. You can click on the shroud.
Okay.
I'm also interested to see like how exactly how far exactly does this go? You know, with Argentina's files, how many more do they have? That was a pretty big one to release.
Yeah,
you know, do
I
you have
agree.
things on the end of his life or where he went after this, or do you lose contact with somebody like that? You always got to keep an eye on him, I would imagine.
But I thought that picture of him and that other guy, he still kept the stash.
That's crazy.
It's quite bold. You would think that I don't want somebody to recognize me. I'm going to shave the stash.
But if you're in Argentina, who I believe the entire country was probably in support of,
Maybe.
you know what I mean? I don't think it was just the hotel owner.
Still to this day, they're all white. Like, even their soccer team is all white.
Yeah.
It's one of
That's
the...
the way it was supposed to be. No. Anyways.
Well, I think
Not for
that
soccer.
every country, this is going to come off really bad, but I have to say it. Every race is allowed to have their own country, but then when you have white people and they say, I want my own country, they say,
not allowed. I know.
no. And it's usually always Jewish people. So that is what it is. Anyway, speaking of white people, we have a little transition here because people would say before, oh, Jesus wasn't white. Jesus was African American. But that wouldn't make sense because America wasn't a thing back then. But African is what they would call him, right? Anyway, well, we have a revelation here.
Yeah.
And this is actually biblical. So right here, you see AI
Take
revealed.
me down the rabbit hole, Luke.
AI revealed what Jesus may have looked like based on the Shroud of Turin. So recently there was this whole controversy about the Shroud of Turin, and then it was proved to be real.
Yeah.
Which
Insane.
is insane that thing could
Insane.
survive over 2,000 years.
Right.
Okay.
And
so
I think the most, before you even point
Go
it
ahead,
out,
go ahead.
I think the most important part of the entire story of the Shroud is the fact that they had so many shrouds back
Right,
then, and
right.
this is the only one. And so when you hear people talk about it, they believe, the resurrection, whatever happened in that moment is what left the imprint
Correct.
on the shroud, which is an incredible revolution.
It's a miracle. It was a miracle.
Revelation.
It was a
excuse me.
miracle. And as a believer myself, as a Catholic myself, as a person of faith, I just think this is so cool. How could you not be fascinated by this if you're somebody that didn't believe in God before?
Or somebody who's on the edges myself.
Yeah, dude. So let's play this, right? This is what the AI is showing Jesus to have looked like based off. So right here on the left, here's the shroud, and then here's the AI depiction. So we'll play this for you. Wow. Kind of looks like Jared Leto. You see, hold on. Let's get a picture real quick.
I'll be honest with you. I watched the video, and the first, what if Jared Leto sees this video, and just takes it and runs with it? I am Jesus.
I don't know.
He probably wouldn't. Anyways,
Yeah, what did we think about that?
well, I'll be honest with you. When I first watched it, like when he first makes the turn to the left there,
Mm-hmm.
I had to do a double take because I thought he had Post Malone tattoos on the side of his face. But that was actually blood, which was really fucked up, and you didn't even giggle a little bit at that. So, unfortunately, that's just going to remain out floating in the air there.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying to look for this picture. Okay, here's a good picture. Okay, so here's the side-by-side comparison, right? You have Jared Leto, and then you have the AI depiction of Jesus from the Shroud of Turin. If it loads, it might not load. I completely apologize if I'm but right here, okay, so it's not going to expand. But it is what it is. I mean, look, so this is Jesus right here in the AI depiction, and here's Jared Leto in Blade Runner, and I think
Pretty close.
It's closer.
Even the one, the third one on the right,
yeah,
like that one is kind of in the same lighting ish.
this one too.
Yeah, those are better depictions with the cheekbone there. Jesus,
I know. literally,
Jesus.
literally. Don't take the Lord's name in vain. But like, okay, so we're going in, right? And like, I don't know how this could sway you to, if you're an atheist. I don't know how that this is something that you could be like and just quietly dismiss. You know what I mean? Like, what's
or at least question it.
Yeah, you can't even like question it.
Right.
Like, I don't think you can quietly dismiss this. I
Go
think
on
you
Twitter and type in or you're on Twitter. Type in the Shroud. Let's see if there's any videos of people smarter than us talking about it. Other than Eddie Bravo on Joe Rogan. I've already watched it.
Let's see here. But I just think it is so interesting, bro. Like, how could you not? Here's another picture of the Shroud of Turin.
That's the AI depiction. Yeah.
I want to see an atheist perspective. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to know, like, what the atheists think about Shroud of Turin.
I apologize. You're on my Wi-Fi tonight. That's why.
That's all good.
That's why we suck. That's why our show is bombing.
It's not bombing.
That's why.
But, like, what do you think about this realistically? Like, think about the atheist perspective. I'll try to find an atheist perspective online.
Again, like the atheist perspective freaks me out because if you have no drive for why you're here, I don't care if you believe in aliens. I don't care if you believe in God or, whatever you believe in. I believe you have. I mean, you don't have to, obviously, but what is life if you don't believe in a creator?
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
People talk about the Big Bang, okay? And yes, it's not what it was described in Genesis, right?
But what is the universe? What is that?
Well, even then, like, that's a miracle. The universe just boom out of nothing.
Right.
That's a miracle.
Right.
So you're telling me that
And outside of us, there are other universes and galaxies, and it's infinite. The idea that a scientist is able to say that there is a Luke Papala sitting here at this table, scrolling through YouTube, looking for a Bill Maher Shroud of Turin video,
and we're gonna get it.
but you know what I'm saying? There is that's what scientists say.
Yeah.
So how does that is a miracle in and of itself. So no matter what you believe in, you have to believe in a miracle.
Right.
If you're an atheist and you believe in the Big Bang or you believe
That's
in
a
whatever you
miracle.
believe in,
That is an
you
absolute
believe in a
miracle.
miracle. The fact that you and I are breathing this air is a miracle.
Yes.
The idea of a piece of cloth being imprinted with God's Son,
It's crazy.
that's crazy.
It is crazy.
In the idea of how it makes sense, Luke.
Yes.
It makes fucking sense.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. As we talk about
Whatever
God.
energy happened there, whatever happened there, could have made this imprint on this cloth.
I know. Isn't it phenomenal to just think about all this? Like, I take the Bible as everything to be true. Obviously, we're not taught to take it literally. We're taught to take it contextually. But it is just so fascinating, right? Just to open people's eyes. Like, this is awesome. This is awesome. This is awesome.
I mean,
and to be able to see all this, to be able to be in the age we are now with all of the technology, just to be able to... I mean, this was an argument. If the Shroud of Turin was real,
right.
An argument for a long time. And, like, we're finally being able to see technology kind of like...
Hello, YouTube.
Oh, Lord.
Shut up!
Whoops. Sorry about that. But we're finally able to see technology kind of like prove that God's real, which is not something that has ever been done before with the revolution of AI. And it's so cool, dude. We are so lucky to be able to live in a world that we live in today.
I think it just leaves so many questions.
Mm-hmm. And now think about how many people were on the fence, like you said, and now this is going to lead them to question, right?
Right.
It is so cool. We're not going to find it. It is what it is. We're not going to find this clip about an atheist perspective on the Shroud of Turin, but I would imagine that they would try and like corner it and try and find all of the arguments against it. I'm not sure what arguments you can find.
If you're an atheist, clip this. If you're an atheist agreeing against and have, an opinion on the Shroud of Turin, we'd love to freaking hear it.
Please, because I would love to get another
Right.
perspective.
Right.
I'm so desperately trying to find one online here, and I'm not able to. But yeah, bro, this is insane. It is. We are so lucky to live.
Like, just look at the shroud itself.
It is amazing. We're not going to put it up on here for you guys, but like, oh my gosh, it is insane. It is insane. So I also saw something too, and I want to be able to get this as well because it's kind of goes back with our topic here, and I don't know if I sent it to you, but I saw something. Is I don't know if it was our country or if it was a country that's not us. Hold on one second here. But it's about 18 to 24-year-old males, right? And here's why it's so important. So I read this on Twitter, and it said that 18 to 24-year-old men. This is so insane. Right here, right? This is from GB Politics. Okay. And let me put this on the screen for you guys before we start. Because this goes hand in hand with that Shroud of Turin topic.
It goes hand in hand with being Republican.
Yeah, it does. But right here, okay? So, new study reveals the number of white 18 to 24-year-olds attending church has quadrupled since 2018.
Wow.
The elites hate that.
Wow.
The elites hate that. So
They
right here,
absolutely do.
the number attending church across all ages has increased 50% since 2018. So this is pre-COVID, right? It has nothing to do with COVID. I mean, I was assuming COVID would have something to do with it now.
Right.
But even then, bro.
But would it though? I mean, I don't know that it would unless they got into scripture while being locked down. I really don't. I mean, I think it's a coming of age thing, and I think it really is. Look at what's going on in your society, and I think churches offer great groups and abilities for you to get out and meet people your age. And what happens when Luke goes to church and brings Shide, and now Shide makes those friends, and Shide's going to bring his friends to church, and that's why the numbers are growing like that.
You want to come to church with me?
No, but you need a we're just not the same religion.
And?
I'm not interested.
Why not?
Because I don't need a cracker and wine on Sunday morning.
Oh, it's not just a cracker of wine. It's legit the body and blood of Christ.
I know. I don't know that I'm fully there to go Catholic at all. I'm an experimenting Christian.
Here's what we'll do.
Go ahead.
One time, just come to church with me.
All right.
Just come to church.
Can I bring the family?
Please.
All right.
Please do it. So you won't be able to take the Eucharist and the blood of Christ.
Why?
Because you have to go through all the steps, right? So you're baptized, right?
No.
Oh, really?
No.
You weren't even so you have to be baptized?
We weren't religious growing up. I mean, I was always taught to kind of believe,
I
but
see.
it was a believe from a distance kind of thing. And then I really got involved with kind of one of like it's a Christian church around here that was very I mean, honestly, it's a mega church around here. You know,
I mean,
which
but
one.
still, that's
But
something.
It's a good church. I will.
That's
I
something.
think so, in my opinion. But
it's a good definitely foot in the door. I think it's very valuable to at least be Christian, but I would definitely advise everybody to really look into it, because like Catholicism is what started. It's like what came directly from Christ. So in the Bible it says Jesus said to Peter, "On this rock you will build my church," and like Peter was the first pope.
Okay.
And so that's how it's called apostolic succession. So like from Peter came the next pope, came the next
Was
pope.
Peter, Paul, John, Peter? No.
Peter was one of the disciples.
Okay.
But anyway, so Peter was the first pope, and now you have Pope Francis. So, like, Pope Francis is continuing the long line of apostolic succession.
Right.
Okay, so, and then you have the priests. So, for example, Catholicism, Catholic priest, it takes a long time to become a priest. Like, it could take as much as, like, 10 years.
Now, are they allowed to get married or no?
No.
Okay.
Deacons are allowed to get married. So, a deacon is somebody that can kind of, like, assist the mass.
Okay.
They can also, I don't believe they can celebrate the mass. Maybe they can in, like, emergency circumstances. But if you are a deacon, say you get ordained a deacon and you're not married, well, then you have to stay not married. But if you already had a wife, kids, then that's fine.
All right, I'm gonna ask you some rapid questions.
Go ahead.
And they're not funny. They're not
I don't
supposed
care.
to be funny.
I don't care.
But
It is what
it's
it is.
genuine questions about
Okay.
Catholicism.
Go ahead.
Do you think that because all the Catholic Church offers to priests are an ability to not be married and go after an urge that everyone has inside of them, and all the Catholic Church is allowing them to have are these little altar boys? Like,
I know what you're saying.
I'm genuinely not trying to say, but it's a problem.
No, yeah,
It's
definitely.
a problem. And
Definitely.
it kind of puts a damper on the church itself.
No, I 100% agree.
So, I mean, like, again, you if you believe in the evolution side of things, where we're these primates that want to fuck and eat and do all these things, everyone was 13 at one time. Do you remember having a cock at 13? It was fucking amazing.
I mean, I have one now. It's
It's pretty sweet. So, like, the idea of like
wow.
of like cutting these priests off, I get the idea of it, but also, like, I don't know, in my head with Catholicism and how everything branches off, and if you really look at the Bible and we're talking about marriage and it's a sacred thing between man and woman, why is marriage sacred between man and woman, but the man who can preach this gospel, and a woman, I believe, in the Bible is not allowed to preach the gospel, but I think that there's a couple different verses that I've seen that kind of, I don't know. I don't, what the fuck do I know? But at the end of the day, I guess the point I'm trying to put across is I feel like there's mixed signals. Like, that's what I would want to go to church for, is ask this priest, why are you not allowed to get married and go after those urges or whatever, but you're allowed to sanction marriage between man and woman?
I see what you're saying.
That doesn't make sense.
I mean, I don't think...
And then they're falling into their sin of, I have no one around. I have no female around me. I have these little boys that I can groom to touch my dong and go from there. Like, it's... I don't want to... I mean, obviously, I want to condemn the priests that did that.
Right.
But, like, I'm not condemning the religion as a whole, because obviously not all Catholics want to fuck kids. But it's concerning that there's a reason that all that happened. That's question number one.
No, definitely. And I would say, like, they go through years and years and years in the seminary. A lot of them are weeded out. We had a couple people around here that would have been great priests, great role models, stuff like that, lead good lives. One's a professor, one's a weatherman, but they were both weeded out. They just decided, like, listen, this isn't for me. They were both multiple years in at the seminary. I think it was in Cleveland, and just said, hey, you know, this isn't for me. I put in time, but, like, they do the best they can to weed it out. However, I will say, like, any human system, you're going to have bad cops, for example. You're going to have bad teachers.
Right.
It's unfortunate that you have bad priests. However, I will also say it's not specific to being Catholic. I remember I was actually in college, and I had a student, had somebody that was in my class that was a youth pastor at an evangelical church in the back of a strip mall, actually. Literally, back of a strip mall, legit. That's one of their churches, I guess. Anyway, but the back of a strip mall, and later in the year, he did not come to class, and I found out that he molested a girl. Multiple times, actually. And so he's in jail now. He was in prison. He is in prison. I was sitting next to him. So it's not, you know, just like not just what's the word I'm looking for? It's not just Catholics, basically. It's everybody. And it's frustrating because, like, you hate to see it. I hate that it's a poison on our faith. You know what I mean? That this goes hand in hand, especially with
It's like when a white
Catholicism.
kid shoots up a school and you're like, come on.
Right. But it's just so, it's infuriating.
Right.
And, like, you want to do what you can. But I think they could they do more now than they did. There's the reports about, who was it? Pope Benedict. When he was Ratzinger. So you take a different name when you're Pope, but when he was Pope, Bishop or Archbishop Ratzinger, there was like a really sketchy report about him sending a priest who was suspected to be a pedophile to this village where there were all like blind and deaf kids, but I don't know the validity of that. That's the thing. I just heard it.
Fucked up.
It's like a very sad story. I don't know the validity of it, so I don't want to spread misinformation, but it's a rumor. But it is, like I said, it is a stain.
That's fucked up.
It's a stain on our faith.
God.
It's a stain on our faith. But
Yeah.
I would say this. So I would say, in my opinion, I really appreciate that the priests have to go through all of these strenuous years of like training and theological study and stuff like that. Also too, like, this is something that they go into knowing beforehand, like, hey, like, I have to be celibate.
Right.
And I guess
Can they J it?
what?
Can they J it?
I would assume no.
Okay.
But you know what I mean? We're all sinners, so nobody's perfect. Like,
Right.
priests aren't perfect.
Right.
Priests are human beings. We're all imperfect. But I would say I put my faith more so in Catholicism because I know, like, they went through almost a decade of learning and studying, whereas, like, some churches, you get, like, an online degree in a couple weeks.
Right.
So, I don't know. That's just my perspective.
No, I totally get it. And some churches are, like the more popular mega churches, you know, or they want to find a cool guy to spread the word, you know.
Which, I mean, that might be your thing, too. I mean, you're still spreading the word of God.
Right,
You're still
right,
evangelizing.
right.
There's no reason to put them down.
Right.
I will say, though, I am glad in some Catholic priests. There's Republican and Democrat Catholic priests. But I really appreciate the ones that stand against, like, the LGBTQ shit and the BLM shit. I will say this, too.
Because they double down on what is God's word.
But some of them, a couple of them caved to the BLM pressure in 2020. But I really appreciate that because here's the thing. And this isn't really related to LGBTQ. I mean, it might be if you consider them Satanists. But the Satanists, like the people that worship Satan, the people that publicly worship Satan, there was just another Catholic church in, I believe, Kansas that was attacked and defaced. Like, those are the only places that get attacked by the Satanists.
Yeah.
Why? Like, it's just, they have these...
And what is the I would like to talk to a Satanist.
I've talked to a couple.
And what
it's
is
weird.
What is the belief system?
They're weirdly joyful. They think that Lucifer is like a fallen angel, and let's actually ask ChatGPT.
So they believe in the Nephilim.
Let's because I'm not
okay.
Say that. So what is the belief of Satanists? All right, and we're gonna put this on the screen for you folks. This is not where I thought the episode would go, but I'm here for it. All right, right here. So from ChatGPT, the beliefs of Satanists can vary significantly depending on the specific type or tradition they follow. Here's a breakdown of the two main branches of Satanism. So LaVeyan Satanism. So this is the atheistic Satanism. Founded by Anton LaVey in 1962 with the Satanic Bible. Core belief: Satan is a symbol, not a literal being. Philosophy emphasizes individualism, self-indulgence within reason, personal responsibility, and rational self-interest. Morality rejects traditional religious morality, instead promotes an eye for an eye approach. Values like pride, ambition, assertiveness, which I don't think is good long term. Spirituality, not spiritual in a traditional sense. It's a secular philosophical stance that uses Satan as a metaphor for rebellion against arbitrary authority, especially religious authority. Okay, and then we have the theistic Satanism. So this is the spiritualistic one. What they believe: Satan is a real being, either as a god or a liberator or a force of nature. Worship, it varies. So some see Satan as a deity who grants knowledge and power. Others as a figure who helps them break free of oppressive systems. Diversity, that's where you got me right there.
Yeah.
There's no central doctrine. Some may mix it with elements of paganism, Gnosticism, or other esoteric traditions. Other variants, you got the Satanic Temple, often confused with LaVeyan Satanism, but is a separate modern movement. TST is non-theistic, focuses on heavily political activism, especially regarding church-state separation, bodily autonomy, freedom of belief. Their 7 tenets promote compassion, reason, and justice. So the common misconceptions. Satanism, especially LaVeyan or TST, does not involve animal or human sacrifices.
And most Satanists don't believe in or worship the Christian devil, so they don't believe in necessarily Lucifer himself. They look at the devil as an object or something more or less than an actual physical human or an entity or something like that.
Yeah, Satanism is not inherently evil or criminal. It's often misunderstood due to its provocative symbolism. Okay, so this is, mind you, this is just what we're reading into ChatGPT. So I'm not claiming that it's not violent or violent. I'm just reading it. Okay,
Yeah.
I personally get creeped out. I get very creeped out.
Absolutely.
They had this red mass. Let me show you how.
I mean, here's the thing, Luke. At the end of the day, why would if you're going to rebel, you're going to use the devil. You're going to use all these, crazy symbols that's going to scare Christians or whatever. You're rebelling, okay? So are the gays. Use the fucking flag. Like, use the rainbow. Like, the rainbow's not scary.
So there was this event. There was this event in Topeka, Kansas, okay? There was this event, the satanic event called the Black Mass, okay? So there was somebody who attempted a Black Mass in Kansas. It was a satanic grotto leader, and there was a Catholic who came and they got into a fight. But I want to play this for you guys. We're not going to play the whole clip, I don't think, but it's really important and interesting that you did bring this up. Because this has happened over and over and over again. So we'll play this for you all. The guy in the glasses right here is a satanic leader, and this is the Catholic who got in his face. And obviously they suplexed him. Now over here, I believe he's holding up, I don't know if people were saying he was holding up the Eucharist. I don't know how he got a Eucharist blessed for himself. I'm not sure, because it is originally a host, but it has to be blessed in order. Okay, it's called transubstantiation. It becomes the body of Christ after the priest does it. Okay, but I don't know if this is actually the Eucharist, or I don't know if it's just a symbol. I'm not sure. But obviously this kid wants to get it back, whatever it is, and the Satanist punches him. So obviously he feels away, and he
gets dumped.
Once again, he gets dumped. So, and this is that whole protest going on, and this right here is Topeka, Kansas, the state capital, I believe. I want to get more videos.
Wow.
So yeah, this attempt was called the Black Mass. Here's another picture here. So Satanists broke into a Catholic church in Missouri to steal the Eucharist. Okay.
Now,
yeah. So yeah.
Go back to ChatGPT. I want to know what a Black Mass is.
Okay. Let's pause this first.
What is a satanic Black Mass? Yeah.
Okay. Satanic Black Mass. All right. So a satanic Black Mass is a ritual that's historically meant to mock or invert the traditional Catholic Mass. It's often misunderstood and sensationalized, especially by media and religious critics. But here's a breakdown.
Why does ChatGPT constantly back? Why are they backing Satanism? They continue to say it's constantly misunderstood. How can they develop? How can they what? Did we just break it?
There you go. That's why.
Clip it. We're going famous, bitches. How the fuck does ChatGPT say that it's often misunderstood?
It's something that you just, we're putting it out all in the air for you, but I kind of like this Catholic theological thing that we got going on, So depending on the context, but they're giving us a breakdown of what it really is and what it isn't. So the idea of a Black Mass came from medieval Christian fears or heresy of devil worship. It's believed to be a blasphemous parody of the Catholic Mass, complete with reverse prayers, desecrated holy items, and invoking Satan instead of God. Stories of Black Masses often include wild exaggerations like orgies, blood rituals, or sacrifices, but most of these are myth or moral panic legends.
Okay, so maybe that's what they meant by often misunderstood, but
I don't know. Right here, a bunch of stuff. So it could be a theatrical ritual meant to reject dogma and affirm personal freedom, or used to symbolically break away from the church's control or shame-based teachings, performed with no actual belief in Satan or any supernatural forces. But this right here, going back to it, they're saying right here, hear the protest, but they're saying like Satanists broke into a Catholic church in Missouri to steal the Eucharist. And they talked about the governor allowing them to desecrate the body and blood of Christ in the state capitol building. Okay, so going back to it right here, I guess this really was the Eucharist, and they broke into a Catholic church allegedly.
Go like a little further. I mean, we only got like the first 30 seconds of it. I just want to see what happens.
So this is the Eucharist, though. That's fascinating.
What is the Eucharist?
The cracker, as you refer to it as.
That was a big cracker he was holding out.
Well, it's the host, but then they break it apart. The big one, the host, they break apart.
I've never been to a real Catholic mass, so anytime I've
It's
ever
actually-
taken,
it's quite
anytime I've
nice.
ever taken communion was literally a little wafer
Oh no,
and a little like to-go cup of wine.
listen. We
it was
up
grape
the,
juice.
we up the worship. Let me tell you, it's really cool, and it's not like out there. Like, not to say like this is bad, but like a Baptist church, for example, like it's a lot of performative. This is not that. It's just I don't view it as that, at least. But anyway, you have the big host. You break it apart. The priest has transubstantiation.
Is it bread or what?
It's like a wafer, I guess you could refer to it, or like a cracker. Not a cracker, but I would say a wafer, a giant wafer. But the little tiny hosts, those are the ones for the congregation.
So is it going to be a Catholic wedding?
Yes. You'll know why. Why are you so?
No.
Don't be timid.
No.
Don't be nervous.
No, I'm not nervous.
Don't be nervous.
I'm not nervous. How much standing? Last Catholic wedding I was at went for like 3 hours.
I mean, this will be maybe an hour, 15, hour and a half.
Okay.
Maybe.
How many times do I have to talk?
You won't be saying a word.
Do I pull my wiener out once?
Oh my gosh. No. You could talk at the reception if you want.
No, I'm
But
around.
anyway, going back
fucking
at
around.
it. Going back at it, you wanted to see what happened after.
Yeah.
Let's see what happened. So this is the Satanist on the ground, and they're done.
Okay, that
So
was
he's-
it. All right, so he's
yeah.
gone. Okay. They all look the same, though. They're always bald. They have the long goatees.
And they have weird piercings too. I
Absolutely,
came in
they
contact with the Satanist a
Really?
couple
I'd
weeks
love to
ago.
have one on the show.
I wouldn't. Their energy is really weird.
I'd love to interview one.
I wouldn't. I can't do it.
Why?
It feels the energy is just weird.
Luke, the only way that you can get more confident with your religion or talk to them about the religion, maybe you could flip them.
I don't want to talk to a Satanist.
You're being timid.
They scared me.
You're being timid.
I'm telling you
You
right
should
now.
be. You should be.
Okay.
You should be abstinent. And you should preach the word of
I'll
God.
tell my story. I'm in Shell a couple weeks ago. Okay, I stopped
Gas
in.
station.
Yes, I stop in to get a Powerade.
What color?
Blue, maybe.
Good. 0 or
I think it was 0. Anyway, go to the cashier, right?
Yeah.
And she wasn't paying attention. So I'm waiting for her. She goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm talking to my dad." Okay, whatever.
Okay.
I'm like, "Oh, okay." She shows me a picture. She says, "You want to see what I made him?" I go,
white girl for sure.
"Sure."
White girl.
Yeah, and this woman had multiple piercings on the cheek. She
Okay.
got the septum piercing, couple piercings over here. Okay.
Okay.
And the hair is green.
Okay.
Pale white skin.
Pale white. I knew
Yeah.
it. I knew it.
And she shows me the picture of what she made.
Yeah.
And it was a crocheted doll with the satanic symbol on the head. It was a red crocheted doll, and it appeared to be like a donkey.
Okay.
A red crocheted donkey with the satanic symbol. You know what I'm talking about? Like upside down triangle in the circle. Okay. And I'm like, "Oh." She goes, "This is my dad." And I'm like, "What?" And I'm already thinking, okay,
This is my dad.
that's a little bit
Wait.
odd.
Wait a minute.
And then
Was she talking to her dad on the phone, or was she talking to the doll through the phone?
she wasn't talking on the phone.
So she was talking to the doll on the phone.
Maybe she was texting somebody.
Talking
I'm not
to the
sure.
picture on the doll.
She didn't appear to be well. And then she mentioned how she had a kid. And I'm like, oh. Oh. Long story short, I went in the car and it was Baphomet that she made.
What do you mean?
Have you ever heard of the deity Baphomet?
I have, but I don't know what you mean. Like that she made it.
She made the.
That's the doll.
Right, that's the doll. So, So Baphomet. Okay, Baphomet is a deity allegedly worshipped by the Knights Templar and subsequently becoming why is it not imported into various occult and mystical traditions. Okay, so it had the occult symbol.
Yeah.
Right, that upside down like star thing.
Yes.
Baphomet also has tits, if you didn't know. But look at this. It had the star. We'll put this also on the screen for everybody. I'm doing a lot of work here. But
Dude, what the fuck?
yeah, it was very weird.
At the Shell?
It was very weird.
I feel like those people can only work at like gas stations and Burger Kings, though.
But like this is Baphomet right here, everybody. Like this is Baphomet. So to make it larger here, like this is it. So she had this plush doll of like a donkey, a red donkey, but it also had the star of Baphomet, and it had the horns too.
So it was this.
It had the horns too. Yeah.
Did it have the tits?
It didn't have the tits. Okay. But still, right? And I want to pull up the doll because I'm pretty sure it was one of these freaking things, dude. It was like this. I want to find a better picture. It was like that.
This
one. Like this is not the exact one probably, but like this thing, right? She had this thing and she showed it to me. And I'm thinking, oh, and I could recognize that occult symbol on top right here. I recognized it, but I wasn't sure.
God, that would give me the heebies.
I got in the truck and I'm like, oh shit, it's Baphomet. So how crazy is that, bro? And then, I don't know, just I've seen a couple of interviews with Satanists online, and they appear to be really, like, overly joyful. And this lady was overly joyful. It just freaked me out. Because I believe, like, all of that. Like, I believe angels and, like, demons are definitely real. And I believe the demons can manifest themselves through different things like alcoholism and stuff like that, and PTSD as well.
Wow.
But I believe like physical demons can actually possess you. And I don't know. I just, that energy. Ugh.
All right. Maybe we won't interview one then.
I can't. Yeah. Shied. Wow. Great episode.
This was a really good episode.
Great episode. 54.
Oh, shit. I thought we went longer. That's why I wrapped it. My bad.
Oh no, we don't have to wrap it.
All right.
All right. But yeah, what do you think about that,
I
bro?
don't even
This
know.
whole thing.
I mean, we could probably wrap it. I don't know that we need to get. I don't know that I have anything. I mean, we can go down and I don't want to go down a Satanist rabbit hole. That's just gonna make me sad for the night.
I mean, look, dude. They appear really, really weird. They all have this like weird
Aura.
sense about them. It's literally like it's a weird aura. Here's a lady interviewing that guy that attempted the Black Mass.
With our Kansas Capitol Bureau. He says his group will host their ritual in the Capitol building, even if it means getting arrested by Capitol Police. Stewart says it's an act of defiance and rebellion, one of the core themes in Satanism.
What are you hoping they take away from this Black Mass?
I'm hoping that our legislature remembers that Kansas is a diverse group of people with diverse needs and wants, and stops placating to just the largest demographic of religious people.
Okay, look at that. So that guy has a big tattoo on the side of the head. How would you not think that this guy is not scary? You know,
I'd be pretty terrified.
I'm pretty freaked out, and he's talking awfully. It doesn't sound like he looks. You know what I mean?
It's the black suit. It's the devil. Like he looks like the devil.
Yeah.
You know. God.
It's very scary. Here's another. I don't want to keep looking at it.
I don't think we have to.
But yeah, bro. How crazy is that?
Dude.
How
this podcast kind of went all over the place.
we did. Come to church with me one time. That's all I ask. I'm not even gonna try and convert you.
I can arrange it.
Yeah,
I'm
just
sure
one time.
I'm sure I can arrange it.
And it doesn't have to be soon. Whenever you're comfortable.
Yeah.
Open invitation. Open invitation for everybody. Don't come with me. I mean, there's some weirdos out there. But open invitation, everybody. Just if you don't want to go to a Catholic mass, at least go to some church, some Christian church. Welcome Christ into your life. You know, I did not think this is the way the podcast would go at all. But you know, you get older and stuff like that. You see the world around you, and you don't want to repeat it.
Do you remember the first episode we ever did compared to this?
Oh gosh.
Good God.
Wow. Yeah, God is good.
All the time.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
We were talking about your ex-girlfriend, I think. And you were talking about your
Probably.
day. I mean, still, like, it's an element of the show that I still want to have.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's fun. Like,
we got to catch up on the week.
the back and forth and stuff like that. You got to catch
Yeah,
up
we
on
had
the
the banter.
week.
But I like falling down these rabbit holes for sure.
I'm scared to go home.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm scared to go outside.
I'm happy to go outside. My toes are numb.
Really? Ah, well, we'll wrap it. Anyway,
I only want my slippers.
well, I'm in Crocs. But anyway, great episode.
Great episode. A lot of content.
A lot of content. Yeah, Hitler, I guess he didn't die in 1945 or whenever the narrative said he died, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe he's still alive today.
Hanging out with Tupac and Elvis.
Yeah.
But on the flip side,
On the flip side.
of someone who maybe didn't die, someone who might have been resurrected, the Shroud of Turin's pretty real.
Oh, he did get resurrected. That's really real, and it is so cool to be able to see that proved with AI. We live in a great
Now, is that
time.
something that's talked about? Have you heard the Shroud of Turin be talked about during a mass or in church, or is that something that's just kind of taboo because it's not necessarily...
I mean, it just happened, so we'll see.
Well, but the Shroud of Turin's been around for centuries.
Right, I'm saying AI just proved it, so we'll see.
What did they prove, though? All they did was just show what he would have looked like.
I mean, it's...
And nothing's really proven. They've just had astrophysicists and fucking every guy with, different number or letters after his name.
So for me, the way it goes is...
Look at it.
For a Catholic Mass, the only time you have... It's very structured. It's usually always the same thing. The only time where you can have something different is the priest's homily. And the homily comes after the gospel. And basically, the priest is able to... kind of relate the gospel to things like now, and like the readings too, talk about the readings as well, relate something that's happened.
How long is a Catholic Mass?
About an hour. It could be 45, 50 minutes. It just depends on the priest and stuff like that. But he could relate in the homily, he could relate like couple different things, like the first, second reading of the gospel to like what's happening now, or relate what's happening now to the Mass. And it's a beautiful thing, dude.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. So just keep an open mind.
I have an open mind.
Open invite anytime.
My mind is open.
Anytime you want to go.
Yeah.
It's quite crazy to see how even now, like, it's being attacked.
I will say, like, I'm not Catholic, but one place I would love to get to the bottom of is the Vatican.
That's a whole different thing.
And what is there? And I think that is the next episode that
That's
we have.
a whole different thing.
I think we dive deep into the Vatican.
Oh, boy. I'm pro, but I understand.
I mean like the secrets that they're
know.
hiding.
I
What's
know.
going on in there?
Well, that's Rome. Rome became the church.
Well, I know.
Essentially.
Right. I mean, right.
Not really, but kind of.
If you want to use a technicality, no.
No, but like
yeah.
people say the British Empire became a bank. Roman Empire became the Catholic Church, and then I can't even think of any other empires that survived. You know what I mean?
The Jews.
Well, that's not an empire.
Yeah.
That's not. Israel's a fake country. Yeah. I stand on business.
The Israeli Empire?
There's no such thing. It's a fake country.
What about the Saudis?
I wouldn't even call them an empire. Like, I mean, if you want to talk, here's something that, not to keep us going, but here's something that I don't think that Mexicans get enough credit for is like all like the Aztec Empire. We don't think about it anymore.
No, I agree.
Like, we should talk about the Aztec Empire.
I agree
More. And like the Olmecs.
There's a lot of places, yeah.
Are the Olmecs Mexican? Like, we don't talk about that
There's
empire either.
There's a lot of places around the world that are not, being looked at and, magnified, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Mexico's big one. I mean, a lot of the stuff here in the U.S. has not been,
The Georgia Guidestones.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that just isn't explained. I mean, we could get to that on another episode. But
we
folks,
have been the innocent villain.
Yeah, this is it. We kind of went a different route here. We were soldiers for Christ today. But please, give the show a like, a subscribe. Please push it in the algorithm, because it doesn't seem like anybody likes the show at the moment, but you will. You will be forced. Ironically, just like that pastor forced that logo. All right, have a good one.
Whoa!